Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage, Dara O'Brien.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. How are you? Good to have you here, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hammersmith Apollo. Are you in good form? Very good. This is our big show tonight. This is our big set, which is supposed to look like the Hollywood Bowl, but in fact looks like the opening titles to Rainbow. That didn't work out quite as we planned it, because that makes me look like Bungle. It is a delight to be here. Good to have you people arriving in. Sorry. Hello. Good to have you here. I know it's mortifying, isn't it? Because everyone can see. It's awful, you know. But you try to do it as subtly as possible, which I think is impressive. Hello. We're not even looking at me. I could be talking about anyone. How rude was that, like? Yeah. And his wife is now hitting him. Me, I was talking to you for the entire night you're doing that. Good to have you here, my friend. Sorry we had to start the show on time. Listen, it is a pleasure and a delight to be here. This is a show. There will be some messing around, some stories, some chat. There will be chat. Don't fear the chat. Some comics are really rude and mean, and they go, look at you, and they're picking you. And I don't do that shit, because, you know, A, because I'm not that kind of comic, and B, you know, you have to be nice. Comedy generally these days has to be nice. It doesn't always have to be nice, but then Frankie Boyle and Jonathan Ross fucked it up. And now it has to be fucking nice all the time, right? And it's gone ludicrous. It has gone ludicrous because all the television shows are really nervous about offending anyone. Oh God, I hope we don't offend anyone. Hope the Daily Mail don't get really angry about stuff that's said on the show. And it's gotten to a stupid extent. For example, I was on a show which you'd never think of this kind of context. This Morning. Do you know This Morning on ITV? 4 of you have heard of This Morning. Which has been running on ITV for like 25 years at this age. Philip Schofield and Holly. You know that one, don't you? There you go. More honestly, rather than people going, no, Dara, I work. I'm contributing to the nation's GDP. I don't sit around all day wanking and watching Schofield. You know the show, right? I was on it and I was plugging Mock the Week. It was one of these things where they'd sent them a clip. One of these clips of the show, there was a bit of banter and I went, joke, right? And I thought, oh, that'll be good. And they showed it in the show, and when they showed it, it went, joke, stop. And I went, where the fuck is the last joke? That's a bit weird not to include the last joke. But I didn't say anything during the interview. But afterwards, I'm in the hot tub with Schofield. And we're just talking. And he's doing my back, so I'm relaxed, so I feel I can share. I know, afterwards I say either to Phil Schofield or to the producer, I said, what happened to the last joke? Why did you leave out that last joke? And they genuinely went, well, the last joke was about the potato famine. And the lawyers here felt it was probably better if we didn't include that joke. This is the Irish potato famine of 1845 to 1849. And I looked at them and went, that's probably wise, because I know a lot of those cases are still working their way through the courts at the moment. You know that in particular, Flaherty versus the Blight will be a landmark ruling. Equally, I wrote a newspaper article during the year, and I was writing about something having become very popular and in sport, and I chose a simile, a metaphor for something suddenly to be very popular. I said, it has spread like, and the one I came up with is spread like swine flu, was what I wrote. Right? This is back when swine flu was hot, right? And I was fucked off when I opened the paper, and in the paper, they had changed it in the paper to, it has spread like wildfire. That is a cliche, my friends, and I don't use cliches. And I rang up and said, what did you do with swine flu? And your man said, Dara, people die of swine flu. And I went, people die in wildfires. People die in wildfires all the time. Not sure why they're getting less sympathy than the fucker with the heavy cold. That seems a bit relative if you don't know what you're saying. Mind you, I occasionally self-censor. Tonight's show, for example, features no jokes about religion. I know, and this in a year where any sentence involving the word pedo and Nazi automatically is a topical joke about religion. And an easy one, but don't think we haven't gone to that well enough for Mock the Week. Anyway, sorry. No, there are no jokes of religion. There are a number of reasons for that. Firstly, as a topic, it bores the whole off me. I couldn't give a shite about religion, right? I am an atheist, although not an angry atheist. If you're into God, good luck to you. With the hoping. But... No, I'm only teasing. You would have a bet. You can pay me money on the other side. What was that, chap? What did you shout over the punchline of that particular joke? Which is something I would like you not to get into your head as the thing to do over the course of the night. But fuck it, let's engage, fucker. Okay, so... What did you shout? What you talking about, man? What'd you say? Fuck PC, let's go for it. Yeah, let's fuck the PC brigade in there. Okay, yeah, you're right. All those bastards with their manners and good courtesy. Not grabbing their secretary's arse or calling me Paddy. Actually, I'm all right with PC, a large part of it. Thank you very much. I don't have a problem with it. Oi, Mick, you fucking slag. Sorry. Anyway, good to have you here, my friend. Nice to know that you're ready to get involved at a moment's notice with any kind of easy political rant that you'd like to throw out. You tell me how I'm doing on your fucking barometer. You wave your hand for the entire game, and you go, oh, you're going well. No, you're going too far this way, Dara. Oh, but now you're going the way. Oh, like that. Will you do that for me? But would you do it on the inside? Okay, so... No. The other reason I don't do jokes about religion, and this might be specific for right now and in this country, if you do the routines I used to do, like the Catholic and Protestant routine, or the, what's the one that, the Lord's Prayer routine, those ones, lovely routines, right? But if you do them now, you genuinely get members of the Christian right coming up to you after gigs or online and going, oh yeah, they love saying this, by the way, they love saying this. Oh, you'll make jokes about the Catholics. You'll make jokes about the Protestants. But you won't make jokes about the Muslims, will you? No, you're not that brave to make jokes about the Muslims, are you? No, not that brave, Mr. Comedian Man, to make jokes about the Muslims. Oh, the Christians, they're an easy target, but you won't make jokes about the Muslims, right? They fucking love that. To which I always say, there are two reasons I don't do jokes about Muslims. A, I don't know a fucking thing about Muslims. And B, neither do you. So, frankly... it'd be pointless. I could research and write the greatest Muslim-based material you've ever heard. Hey, what's up with the big golden horse that comes over the hill once a year and hands out cake to the kids? What's that all about? And you'd all be there going, is that a thing? I've never heard of that. Is that a thing? Oh, geez, you've really nailed the Muslims there, Dara. Well done. Congratulations. By the way, apologies to any Muslims in the room who are now sitting there going, what golden horse? What the fuck is the man talking about? Man's a fucking idiot. I've never heard of that at all. I've read the book cover to cover. I've never heard of that at all. Right. So there will be chat, there will be bits of random banter, and I will occasionally just bing, 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 and go for it, for God's sake. Please don't be worried about in any way. For example, bing, just because you're right there, A1 in the middle. What's your name, champ?
Simon.
Hiya, Simon. Simon, good to have you here. Are you a local, Simon?
I am a local.
You're a London man yourself, Simon. What do you do for a living, Simon? Before you answer the question, here's an important point. If a comedian ever asks you, what do you do for a living? Don't worry about telling the truth. We don't give a fuck what you actually do for a living. These aren't the baby steps of a relationship. It's just, I'm not going to wake up beside any of you tomorrow morning and go, you said you're a pilot. That, by the way, is me after a one-night stand with an audience member. You know, vulnerable, but satisfied. So, because you'd be tender, Simon, wouldn't you? You'd be tender with me, right? And Simon, what do you do? You're a builder. You're a builder, Simon, like my father and my father before me. It's kind of an Irish say. Do you look at your soft hands? Do you have soft hands, Simon, or do you have hard, calloused hands from the placing of bricks? Calloused hands, are they, Simon? I'm looking at them. You're more of a man who manages builders, aren't you, rather than a man who does the building himself. Would that be safe to say, from the nodding from everyone who knows you in the front, going, this fucker wouldn't know a spirit level if it came up and bit him in the arse. Simon, have you ever put a brick on top of another brick, have you? No. Your wife says no. Your wife says you've never done any of this stuff. Where do you do most of your building? Is it houses or is it what is it you deal with?
A variety.
A variety? Oh, you build theatres. What the fuck is a variety? What does a variety do? Like, people book you to build one thing. They don't want to arrive in and go, what's that? Well, it's a giant rubber slide. I asked you to build a house, for Christ's sake. A variety. What's the weirdest thing you've ever had to build, Simon?
Ooh, that's a tough one, isn't
it? It is a tough one, but the questions will get tougher as it goes along, Simon. At some point, you'll be reaching for receipts, your accountant will be in, you'll have a lawyer coming in for that stage. This is all a setup, Simon. We've been waiting to trap you for years. We finally flushed you out. You've been employing cheap Irish labour for generations at this stage. How do you think you got seat A8 as easily as you did? All of you now in the front row going, does he know about the thing that I did that time with that thing? Oh, this is taking on a whole other air, this gig. Now it's a really victimising gig. No, Simon, we don't. We do wonderful work. Fantastic. What's the weirdest thing you've ever built, genuinely?
I don't know it's weird, but I've done satellite installations for the United States Navy.
You've done satellite installation stations for the United Nations Navy. Oh, you got that sentence out really well, didn't you? Satellite installation stations for the United States. I can't even say it twice. That's amazing. That should be on like a syllabus for small children. Oh, she sells seashells at the satellite installation station for the United Navy. How good are you at tongue twisters, my friend? That's fantastic. We didn't expect that. Is that how you entertain the boys around the brazier when they're ready to do a bit of work? Lads, try this one. Satellite installation stations for the United Nations. Anyway, Simon, no, good to have you here, Simon. There may be brick-related questions I want to ask you, in which case I will come to you and you'll probably ring a guy who knows about them, right? This is the way we'll work. Good to have you here. Settle into the gig. Bingity, 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 bing. What's your name, champ? Dave. How are you, Dave? Dave, are you London, are you? Originally from South London. But that somehow disqualifies you from the question, are you a London? You're from London, for fuck's sake. How else does one achieve Londoner status if not originally from London? Dave, you are really picky. How South London was it? Kent. Okay, not London, all right? That's way outside of the London, outside of the pale, my friend. And what do you do, Dave?
I'm a brain surgeon.
You're a brain surgeon. Good man. I know you're not. You're playing the game, aren't you? You're going for something crazy and unbelievable. Really? What's the biggest brain you've ever surged on? No, seriously, go on. What is it? Let's see how far you can take this. You're the one who chose brain surgeon, right? If you're going to play the bullshit game, don't come to me with brain surgeon as your first answer. Go plumber, for fuck's sake. Don't go brain surgeon. Really? What's the worst thing you've ever found in there when you've opened it up? Have you ever found something really strange in there?
Spanners.
Spanners. There are spanners in a man's head. Jesus, what is the Latin term for finding spanners inside a man's head? They must have taught you this in medical school all those years ago. Il spanner. Il spanner, right? How many spanners were in the head? A fair few, yeah. You don't want to narrow it down at this stage. Was there any brain in there at all? Is the brain like a soup when you open it up? Yes, it is. In what other ways is it like a soup? Which soup is it most like? Minestrone. Oh, we're back to the Italian again. Really? Are there chunks? Is that what you're saying? Essentially, there's like, alphabetti spaghetti. The brain is like a large tub of alphabetti spaghetti. If you pop the top off and you can spell out your name in it like that. Is that the way it works? My God, the insights we're getting into the human brain is fantastic. It's a pleasure to have you here, my friend. A genuine brain surgeon. If anyone has any brain pain in the middle of the gig, he's here to deal with it. Yes, seriously, somebody with a headache, come to him and watch him go, no, I'm not. I'm not a brain surgeon as well. One last person to talk to before we go is a man who came in late. How are you, sir? Are you well? Fine, how are you? What's your name, sir? How are you, Des? Des, where are you from? Sudbury. You're from Sudbury? Okay, what do you do, my friend? You're a handyman? Really? Are you looking for a bit of work? Because I know a guy who has a building site that has any and he would be delighted to have you there, thrilled to have you there, because he couldn't do anything, right? He couldn't wire a plug. Can you wire a plug, can you? Now and again. Okay, Grant. Okay, well, hang on, why, do you have lapses or something? Do you used to know how to wire a plug and then your head thing comes back? Because I know a guy who's a brain surgeon and he can deal with that as well. So if you have kind of things, right, there's a guy here called Dave. By the way, handyman, are you missing any spanners? That's a major question to ask at this stage. Because if you are, because Dave is a genius at Il Spanero, which is the operation to remove spanners. I don't forget anything, you fucker. I don't forget a single thing you say, right? Sharp as a tack. What did I actually want to talk to you about? We will be back to people. There will be bits where I want you to forward stories, so please get involved with that and it'll make a memorable gig. However, what did I want to talk to you about? I, during the year, had an unusual experience because I ended up at a student party, right, one night, right? And I've not been to it's tragic, isn't it? I've not been to a student party in a decade, right? But I did a gig in Cambridge and some lad came up to me and said, hey, will you come back to the house? We're having a meeting of the Cambridge Whisky Drinking Association. And I went, oh, that sounds fancy. And he goes, no, it's not. And all it was is these group of lads, and they all pitch in £4 each and buy a bottle of single malt whiskey, right? Like real student, but lovely guys, real comedy nerds. And I went back and was chatting to the lads, and during the conversation, I know there were 3 girls there, mates of theirs, all first year in college, about 18, 19 years old. And I'm chatting to the 3 girls about college life and this and that. And then I made an observation I hadn't actually formally made, which was that nothing was passing between me and the girls. There was no electricity, no vibe, no chemistry, no potential, nothing was passing. The 3 women were looking at me in a kind of a, this is very nice, I wonder who he's here to collect. Now, that is shattering, but I know it had to happen at something. Yeah, honestly, nothing, blank. It was as if I'd forgotten to turn on the Bluetooth in me cock. Nothing. was coming off the girth. I wasn't looking for it. I'm married with a kid. I wasn't hunting it down. But nonetheless, it's slightly disappointed. You know, they weren't even registering a sexual device in the room. Nothing was coming off them, right? And similarly, about a few weeks later, I went to a doctor's appointment and I was checking with the doctor about stuff and I was chatting to him and I said, will you do an MOT on me? I'm in my late 30s now. Let's see how I'm doing. So your man does a big test on me, runs a load of things, and then comes back with a big, serious face on it. I said, what's wrong? And he goes, well, your cholesterol, he says. Your cholesterol is very high, right? Now, my cholesterol was ludicrous. Pick a number and double it type high, right? But I didn't know what it meant. And I went, what does that mean? What does it mean? And I looked at him and went, does that mean I've got butter for blood? That's what it means, I've got butter for blood, doesn't it? And your man looked at me and goes, not quite. And I said, not quite? That was chosen as a ridiculous example. I expected to say, no, not quite. That wasn't the opening negotiation in a sister here. What is not quite butter? What, spreadable? Margarine? What have I got in my veins at the moment? And your man looks at me and goes, I can't believe. And I said, what, it's not butter? Yeah. And he goes, no, I can't believe you're not dead yet. I've had a look at the figures. You should be dead now. Besides which, stop going on about butter. We've had this conversation for 10 minutes and you've mentioned butter 9 times. And every time you do, your eyes light up and you start to salivate. That could be the problem right there. But there is, firstly, this is an important thing. The 19-year-old girls, by the way, that if you've ever had a conversation that involved the word cholesterol, you don't get to wonder why the 19-year-old girls don't seem to be in any way interested in you, right? That's a good rule for life, lads, you know. If you're, let's just put it this way. If you're using a special margarine, boys, no more 19-year-olds for you, right? Here's a rhyme next time you open the fridge. If your floor is blue, no 19-year-olds for you, right? But the other issue I went was, I said to him, what am I going to do? And he says, well, I'm afraid there are 2 things you can do. Plan A is a drug called statins. Now, we'll have all heard of statins by the time we die. There'll be one of these drugs like Dispirin that we'll have heard about. And it's like, oh, my God, the statins this, statins that. We'll have all heard of statins. But your man goes, you take these drugs and you take them every day until you die. And I went, no fucking way, man. No fucking way. I'm a young man. I'm not eating myself into the situation where I need drugs for life. What's plan B? And he said, a harsh regime of exercise. And I said, let us urgently reconsider plan A. And in fact, I'm angry at the way you hid plan B behind plan A, knowing full well I would reject plan A out of hand, and then you'd spring me with a genuinely prickish plan B, right? No one wants to do the exercise. No one wants to be back in the gym on the machines that do this, or do something. While some prick from the gym in a little blue t-shirt with the logo sewn onto it goes, are you having a good workout? And you go, and he goes, are you having a balanced workout? And you go, well, I haven't fallen off the machine yet. Frankly, that's as much balance as I intended to achieve over the course of this workout. What do you mean balance? They love this bullshit in the health industry. You fuckers like you, Dave. Doctors like you, pounding this shit down our throats all the time. They love this bullshit. Oh, you've got to have a balanced workout. There are 3 types of fitness. There aren't 3 types of fitness. It's only a type of fitness if you can't bluff it. There are 2 types of fitness. 1, strength for the lifting of heavy things, and stamina for the holding of heavy things when the place you're going to put the heavy thing isn't quite ready for the heavy thing, so you've got to go and put the heavy thing in. The 3rd one, suppleness, flexibility, ask my arse. Can you touch your toes? Yes, I can touch my toes. I've got knees. Remarkably easy to touch your toes. I have semi-collapsible limbs. That makes the job almost facile when it comes to touching my toes. Look, there's one set, there's the other. Job, right? Nonetheless, I had to pick an exercise, which is a chore, right? And I went through all the different options, and I eventually fixed on cycling. I thought, this will be the one I'll do. I'll go cycling, right? And this is kind of because when I was 15 in Ireland, we had this guy called Stephen Roach who won the Tour de France, right? And as a teenage boy, I went, oh, wow, and he's a hero to me, and I always wanted that bike, that skinny bike with the drop handlebars, and here we go, right? So finally I can do this. Does anyone here ride a bike? Okay, maybe I'll broaden that out a bit. Does anyone here own a bike? In fact, no, let me narrow it down now. Is there anyone here married to or living with somebody who spent a lot of money on that bike and that hasn't been out of the garage in at least a year at this stage? Yes, there's a few there. You're my people. You're my people right there. Did he buy the shorts as well? I bet he bought the shorts too, didn't he? And walk around the house going, look at that, Mary, isn't that fantastic? Look at that. Look at the way it lifts. Lifts and holds, Mary, you're a lucky woman, I've still got it. You always buy the shorts and you go out and you think you're an athlete. I went out the first day on the bike out to Richmond Park, cycling around the park, and then I got thirsty. You know, when you get thirsty as a punter, you drink. But when you're an athlete, in other words, when you've got the bike in the shorts, you rehydrate. So I'm on the bike, I put my hands on the handlebar, I reach into the frame of the bike, pull the bottle out, and while cycling, pump it, to push the fluid into my system fast. Then I released, forgetting to disengage the bottle from the corner of my mouth. So when I did this, it popped out, creating a vacuum, which instantly sucked the fluid back up my throat, out of my mouth, into the bottle again. I effectively rinsed myself out. When I took the bottle away, it was as heavy as it had been when I initially introduced it into the situation. But I didn't fall. I wobbled ferociously. I was all over the road, but I didn't fall. You don't fall when you're at speed. You fall when you're static. You fall when you're in traffic. You fall when you're at the lights. You fall when there are others around to see you fall. That's when you fall off a menopausally purchased expensive bike that you don't really know how to use. And you fall slowly. Because if you're at speed, you can go to here, down to here, and the momentum will carry you around. But if you're static, if you go to here, that's enough for gravity to go, I'm having you. And you go down slowly. Enough time for people to go, oh, timber, he's going down, he's going down. Here, John, look at this is hilarious. Look at this. Hey, Mary, come here. No, park the car. You've loads of time. Come on. The most important thing to do when you're falling off a bike is make the face. Make the face. This is vital. This is the face. That's the face. That's if you do, people have a reflex. They have to go back at you, and you go and they go and you go no, I'm falling. They go no, I'm falling myself. Oh, here we go. Oh, happens to the best of us. That makes it okay. But if you go no, people look at you and they go no as well. Oh well, you know, and in their head it goes wah wah wah, and that makes it all okay. You could try to stop yourself falling, but that's impossible, because the man who sold you the bike and the shorts also sold you the shoes. The special, magical cycling shoes that clip onto the pedals for the efficient transfer of energy from thighs to the bike. But you can't get them off the pedals because you keep forgetting the 30-degree Fred Astaire unclippy angle that you have to do. And you're falling off a bike, you can't remember that because half your brain's going, oh Jesus, you're falling! And then the half is going, make the face! So you kick furiously, but you're strapped to the pedals, so the energy goes down one pedal and then up the other pedal, and now you're shaking. You're making the face, but people are looking at you going, geez, he's having a fit. You're shaking all over the place, and they're going, who gave the epileptic a bike? It must have been the traffic lights that set him off. And mammy, it hurts. It hurts when you hit the ground. I've had back injuries. How many people here have ever had back pain? Majority, loads of people. Oh, it's a chore because you don't know what to do with it. What do I do? Ow, oh, ow, I can't handle this, right? It's a fucking nightmare, everything, back pain. I was whining about one back injury for a while to a mate of mine. For so long, he eventually went, Jesus, there's a chiropractor near me. Go get yourself checked out. I said, is he good? He said, I don't know. You go check yourself out and you can help. Well, I'm here with my review. It's voodoo. That's my review of chiropractic. It's voodoo with percussion built in. They lie you down and they do clickety-pop, click-click-pop, clickety-poppity-click-pop, click-click-pop on your back. Then the guy stood me in the room, looking away. He went behind me, reached over my shoulders, grabbed my head and went, crack. So literally you're there going, I wonder what's happening in fucking hell. I wasn't expecting that. No doctor does that. I've never seen any trained medical professional do that. I've seen Jason Bourne do it. I've seen Bruce Willis do it in a Die Hard movie. I've never seen a Die Hard movie where he's sneaked up behind somebody and gone, crack. And they've gone, oh, Jesus, that's fantastic. Thanks very much. Oh, God, you've really loosened that up. I had a knot of tension there for years. That's all gone now. Oh, sure, that was the only reason I got into terrorism, was the dull, nagging pain in my neck. Thank you, John McClane, for releasing me from that. And my fears were confirmed by a mate of mine, Simon Singh, who wrote an article for The Guardian a couple of years ago pointing out that some chiropractors claim to cure infant colic. and asthma and ear infections in young children, right? And he said, there's no evidence for this, this is bogus. And the entire organisation of chiropractors sued him for libel, right? And the case dragged on for 2 years and cost hundreds of thousands of pounds, and they eventually backed down because they had no case. And it was a waste of time and ludicrous kind of nonsense thing to do, right? And a lot of people got very angry because of the medical implications or because of the legal implications. My reaction was much more of a gut feeling of what manner of idiot brings an infant to a chiropractor. Have you ever met an infant and gone, how are you feeling? And the kid's gone, I'm fucking knotted. Stop it, jeez. I did bits. I got out of the cot this morning. Twang, I can't move. Oh, stop it. I bent over to pick up a Peppa Pig. I couldn't get down. Leave it there, leave it there. Oh, sure, I'm a martyr to me back. A martyr. Sure, I've got playgroup in an hour. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to get through that. I am aware, by the way, at this stage it just sounds like everything I talk about is either back pains or becoming old or having cholesterol or needing to ride a bike a lot. I'm not decrepit, by the way. I will see it to the end of the gig, right? I'm not going to die. In fact, not to boast, but in the last year, I have saved lives. Took your time about that. Frankly, I don't think I can offer you as obvious a panto moment if I flag it up with a dame and somebody dancing behind you, right? It's not that easy a claim to make. How many people here can do it? Has anyone here ever saved a life? Yeah, obviously loads of hands go up, like you have. What do you do for a living? You're a fireman. Well, that's your job. So, yeah, I can't compete. Sitting at the front in the removable trousers, ready to shimmy down a pole. Go on, slide down that, you prick. Of course, you probably saved 3 on the way here today. You're probably juggling orphans. Oh, here, get them out of the fight. The only way to carry 3 babies at a time when the orphanage is burning down. I can't compete with you. You'll always win this game. I'm looking for punters. Who is a punter has ever saved a life? Okay, that woman there, what did you do? You saved a child. But from what? From a swimming pool. Oh, was it one of those mean swimming pools that creeps up on children and jumps at them? Was the child in the pool at the time? She fell into the pool. Were you in the pool? You were sunbathing near the pool when the child went in. Is it your child, by the way? No, okay, grand. And what did you do? You dived in after the child. That's the correct answer, rather than I looked going, Jesus, there must be a parent around here somewhere. This is disgraceful the way some people raise their children today. All right, I'll get up, right? So you crossed over to the child. How deep was the water? Very deep. Yeah, give me a fucking number. Very deep. Where was this pool, by the way? Was it a hotel somewhere in somewhere? He's in Ibiza, right? Okay. How deep is the water? 10 foot. A 10-foot hotel swimming pool, right? No one's believing that for a second, Pet. That you were staying at a hotel exclusively built for Olympic-class diving facilities. And with a child, a fucking 4 foot, wasn't it? It was fucking 4 foot. And you just did this. Get out of there now, right? That's the level of life-saving you achieved, right? Isn't it? Was it the kiddie pool? It was the kiddie pool, wasn't it? It was the fucking... Okay, fine. Anyway, listen, well done. Give her a round of applause. She saved a child from drowning in a swimming pool. In that much of water, she risked her own life. She fought a torrent of water up to 3.5 foot deep to save that child. You're a legend, my friend. Who here has ever saved somebody? Who's ever saved a life? Go on. You, man. What did you do? You gave blood. Okay. I may have given the impression that that woman had achieved nothing. But I am recalibrating that after your shitty contribution to this debate, right? Give blood, you lay there, and then they give you a biscuit. She got wet for her story, right? And you got a cup of tea out of it as well, didn't you? It was baby blood. It was baby blood. What, hang on, but did you, as an adult, give baby blood? How did you do that? What crazy time paradox did you achieve? What is your blood special blood? What is it, rhesus negative or something? Is it or some? It's O negative, is it? You know, so we can give it to babies and everything. Do they bring you into hospitals when there are baby emergencies and you go, "Don't worry, I shall save you." And all I shall ask to save you is one biscuit and a cup of tea. That's all I need. But nonetheless, you did the right thing. Good for you. Baby blood. Have you ever met any of the babies who've received your blood? No, you don't. They probably don't keep you in touch. Would you feel a sense of ownership, would you? Would you see there? Would you feel, you, me, hey, bastard, I own you. You're mine. You're mine. I was looking at you with a toy in his hand. All right, a more action-packed story. Anyone here? Everywhere. You, what did you do? Your friend of mine broke a leg. Oh, his own leg, one of his two legs, or broke somebody else's leg? Whose legs did he break? She broke her leg. Yeah, how? You were cycling, and she fell off the bike, and she broke her leg. And she almost died of broken leg, did she? What else happened? Because broken leg is broken leg, and it's a serious thing, but very rarely do people go, oh, she broke her leg, and we just had to put her down. I mean, because she was worth nothing to anyone anymore. We put screens around her and just shot her in the head, and that was the most humane thing to do at that stage. Is your friend a horse in this particular story? No, what did you have to do? You rang the doctors. You rang a hospital. Oh, you're a fucking legend, you are. That's even worse than I gave blood as a story. Well, did you physically have to do anything? The ambulance was taking too long, so you did what? You carried her. When you say friend, special friend now. Not even after that. What does a bloke have to do these days? To nail one of his mates. You pushed her off the bike to create the accident, then you quickly rang the hospital, bluffed them about, oh, they can't get her, I shall carry you. How far did you carry her? A mile. Yeah, it's okay. You know, I'm not sure to what extent you actually saved her life, but nonetheless, give him a round of applause. He carried her back, right? Here's a problem. Has anyone here done CPR? So you've done CPR. Are you trained to do it? Are you a nurse or a doctor? You work for the ambulance corps, right? When they trained you at CPR, this is a question I always ask people about CPR. It's a very simple question. What song do they use to train you? Nelly the Elephant. This is a fact I only learned on this tour. They use Nelly the Elephant to train people in CPR. I cannot think of anything that would lower your authority more in a life-saving situation than pushing through a crowd going, please, back away. I am trained in cardiopulmonary resuscitation. If you just give me some space, thank you very much. Nelly the Elephant Factor. Off she went with a clippity. I can't think of any... Can you imagine being the family of the person going, what the fuck are you doing to me, Dad? I asked a woman in Margaret who said, I did CPR. I said, what song do they use to train you? And she goes, oh, you know, the one from Dumbo. No, you can't just substitute any elephant-based song into that gap. What's exciting, though, is it's no longer Nelly the Elephant. It has moved on. There is now a new song for the training of CPR. What is the new song for the training of CPR? Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. I am not making that up. You're now supposed to push into the crowd and go, back away, back away, back away. Ha, 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 ha. Staying alive, staying alive. It only works if you take the patient's arms, move one of them down to his hip, and move the other one pointing straight up. Don't get the wrong Bee Gees song. You don't want to be leaning over somebody going, tragedy. What the fuck are you doing to me, Dad? Here's my story. 2 people. I saved 2 people's lives at the same time. Genuinely true story, right? Don't be impressed. That's fair enough, right? 2 people in Piccadilly Circus tube station in London last summer. This is a complete true story. I'm on the escalator, the down escalator. I'm on my way down to the bottom. A woman at the bottom does a thing which no one has done in about 120 years, where she fails to successfully navigate that awkward transition between escalator and planet Earth. You know that little step-in, that little raise, she catches herself on that, click, and goes down, right? She hurts herself, bangs her knee. The bloke behind her doesn't have time to react. He clatters across her, injuring her more. The woman behind him has just enough time to step to one side and land beside her and go, oh my God, are you okay? And she goes, no, I've hurt my knee quite badly, actually. And then the 2 of them turn, look up and go, no! Because now I am being fired towards them at an incredible speed. Oh, they're fucked, they're gone, they're dead. There's no getting out of this situation. They're in an awful state. I'm going to be like a bowling ball and they are Skittles. I'm going to send them fragments of them all over the tube station. There's going to be blood and guts. No amount of baby blood is going to save these 2 women when I cut through them with my bulk. The 2 of them are looking up at me going, ah! Try to imagine the boulder at the start of Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's what I must have looked like to them as I'm looming over them, blocking out light, my shadow falling onto their faces. Ah! And they're going, ah, you're going to die, which didn't help the mood in any way whatsoever at that stage. You're going to die, ah! And then I did an incredible thing, a thing that you know the time you saw the child in the pool and you had to save him. You know the time that your friend twisted her ankle that time when you're out cycling and you decided bravely to piggyback her all the way to the hospital, right? Anyway, I did a thing, an incredible thing, a once in a life, to save these women's lives. I did an amazing thing. I'm not saying you couldn't have done it. I'm not saying you wouldn't have the quickness of thought or that you wouldn't have the physical dexterity to do the thing that I did in that moment to save these women's lives. I did an incredible thing. I turned around and started to walk back up the escalator. Saving these women's lives. And startling the bloke who's now coming towards me in the same speed. Going, what the fuck are you doing? And I went, no! And he went, well, what are you doing? And I said, there's a woman injured. So he turned around, and now the two of us are walking side by side, just striding along. And we had to tell everyone on the... Oh, no, turn around. Yeah, if you could turn around. Oh, for fuck's sake. Everyone on the escalator had to turn around. They're all just hovering in space. The entire escalator up to the top is just floating, going, for how long? How long are we fucking doing this? Right? I can only dream of how it looked to the other escalator. The genuine up escalator, which is rammed with commuters, just going past, going, this is the one. This is the one, lads. What the fuck are you doing over there? This is the one that goes all the way up. Are you lot salmon or something? What are you? And we were there going, saving lives, people, saving lives. This is what saving lives looks like. It's an incredible story, I accept that. An inspirational story, an amazing story. However, sometimes they're not that inspiring at all. First time I ever asked the question, a bloke in a gig here in London raised his arm and went, I've saved a life. I said, what happened? I told an amazing story. Told the story of a time that he was on a jetty in a harbour and there's somebody stepping off a boat. And as they stepped off the boat, the water surged and pushed the boat out. So it was like taut. Right? And the guy stepped off into nothing, where the jetty had been was now back there, and now he stepped into the water, and he was going to die. Because what happens when the surge goes down, the boat's going to come crashing back in again, and is going to crush the guy up against the jetty. Your man wasn't having any of this. He ran over and grabbed the guy's arm and pulled him out of the water and plonked him down on the jetty beside him. Massive round of applause, huge spontaneous round of applause. I went, oh my God, it's amazing. I looked at him, that is incredible. And the guy went, nah, it's all right, I suppose. I said, why is that not incredible? And he went, well, he was a prick. What are you going to do? Where were we, ladies and gentlemen? Oh yes, the 19-year-old girls. That's what I was talking about. No. Here's a different situation, and a situation that's very common in my life, where I now find myself often in the company of women. Just me and loads of women. Right? Please, it's not what you think. What's wrong with you people with your dirty minds, right? No, it's me and mothers, right? And by which I mean literally mothers, rather than you fucking mother. Anyway, so, okay, I'm sorry. I've stumbled across a lot of people who are into MILFs in a huge way. I'm sorry. This is the point. I spend these days every week. I spend a load of my time about 11 o'clock in the morning, where it's me and mother at these classes called Drumorama or Jimalima Ding Dong. Right? These classes you go to with a toddler in order to tire the fucker out. What's that? Didn't I mean to increase their coordination and social skills? No, tire the fucker out so they'll sleep and you can drink some wine. And when I go, it is literally me as the only grown-up male there, and mother, and they look at you. Mothers look at you when you're the only man in a kind of what are you doing here? In our sacred mothering space with your penis. Obviously, implicitly with your penis, rather than, what are you doing with your penis? Put it away, for Christ's sake. It's Drumorama. They supply the drumsticks. There's no need to take that out. Collectively, I have to say this, mummies are bitches. They really are. Oh, I'm sorry. I had a mother walk up to me once at a swimming lesson and go, you may not change with your daughter. I went, how dare you? It's the most natural, normal thing for a father and a child to change together. Of course, I would change with my daughter. There's nothing weird about her strong. How dare you even imply that there's something wrong with that? And the woman looked at me and went, it's the woman's changing room. When I looked at her and went, who are you to place such structures on a child's mind? Why don't you and the other mummies just go back to the showers and I'll just sit here and finish my cigar?
So I don't go to swimming lessons anymore. No. I now go to soft play areas, which are these arenas which are specially built and all padded so the kids can run into things and not hurt themselves. And then they run into each other. And you're outside with some stranger parent and you have to do this real, ooh, 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 are they okay? Are they grand? Are they okay? Are they fine? Are they all right? Oh, are they all right? You know, oh, bit of rough and tumble. Doesn't do them any harm in the long run. A few tears now. It'll be fine. It'll be grand. It'll be fine. It'll be grand. That's what you say. But on the inside, you're going, boom! My kid pwned your kid. You turn into Don King of the Bouncy Castle. Get that loser out of here. Who's next with my child? I either go there or pet shops, which are, of course, a free zoo. And people who work in pet shops know this. And they look at you going, you're not going to buy a thing, are you? When you walk in, you go, no, I'm not buying a thing. Look at the fish. Come on, look at the fish. Go on, look at the fish for half an hour because Daddy's hung over to fuck. So you look at the fish for a while while I rest my head in a terrarium. Now, I'm aware that it is actually slightly risky for a comedian to talk about these kind of topics, right? These are the ones that actually can alienate people because there are a lot of people at a certain age or don't have kids, don't want to hear about this, right? It can look mawkish or sentimental, and that's not what I'm kind of trying to achieve. And particularly say, well, let's go very, 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 very young. You two there, right? What age are you two? 14, and you? You're 14 as well. Okay, Grant, let me give a bit of light into you. Right, now, you are perfect, right, at this kind of thing, because you're teenage boys. 14-year-olds don't want to hear something, but I'm sorry, am I interrupting your recording illegally of my show? I'm loving the brazenness. Like, we have 9 cameras, but you thought, no, the phone will capture the moment better than any possible major production thing that we have. No, go for it. I'd like to. You can run as an extra. Your view. What's your name? Okay, Johnny. Is it Johnny? Yeah, Johnny, we'll have, as an extra, Johnny's view of the show, which is like that. Just constantly, every time I look over, it'll go down. Right. No, Johnny, you're going to use you as ambassadors for young men in the audience, right, just for a second, because you don't want to hear stuff about babies. I know that. I know that you don't want to hear that. That's not as rare an instinct as you might imagine. How many people, this is a test I run every night, how many people in this room think babies are cute? Okay. How many people in this room think kittens and puppies are cute? Yep. Every night, the kittens and the puppies win. Literally, I've done this show 120 times. Every night, there's never even a debate. The kittens trounce babies. It's something really fucked up on an evolutionary level. We find the young of other species to be more appealing than the young of our own, right? Not just kittens, not just puppies. Lambs, ducklings, baby crocodiles. If you're ever on a plane and an air hostess went, I'm afraid you will be sitting next to a baby, and you automatically go, oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, no. Oh, come on. Oh, no. Not me. It's my holiday as well. No. And then she goes, a baby crocodile. And you go, hey! You'll be feeding it rashers all the way through the flight. Come on, Snappy, have a bit of bacon. There you go. Oh, ho, ho, you little monkey, get down. It is just one of the things we don't like it that much. Here's another thing. I'm not going to be sentimental about it, trust me, in any way. In fact, I'll give this piece of advice. Anyone here who doesn't have kids and who may have kids in the future, little tip for you, little habit you could break now, something that you, trust me, you do this, you will thank me for it in years to come. Very, very simple. Stop using the word dirty in a sexual context. We've all done it. I'm not judging you. We've all thrown the word in to add a bit of spice to a situation, to add a bit of frisson to a night. But it will rear up and bite you when you turn to your infant child and go, don't do that. That's dirty. Oh, you're a dirty girl. Look at you now. Oh, God, I can't believe I just said that to my own child. That is the creepiest thing I have ever done in my life. That is horrible. It's a word that has a proper meaning, a proper, genuine, like naughty is another one as well. These words and phrases have definite, proper meanings, and when we subvert them for sexual reasons, we ruin them for when we really need them. Dirty, naughty, and do what daddy tells you. So
So no, not sentimental. But I might be slightly nerdy in the next little bit. Is anyone here, are there any nerds in the room? Okay, loads of nerds, good stuff. Don't fear us, non-nerds, we're gentlefolk. I myself am a nerd. I did a degree in science a long time ago, right? A degree I still get credit for in chat shows or on QI. They go, oh my God, you did a degree in science. And I have to go, yes, I did. Don't ask me any questions. A decade and a half ago, I can't remember. You can't keep trading on this stuff forever, right? You know this if you've ever played five-a-side football. If you ever play five-a-side football, there's always one bloke going, well, yeah, I had trials semi-professionally when I was 14. And you're going, really? Because you're not 14 now, are you fat prick? You've kind of bulked out a bit in the last 25 years. 14-year-old you would be useful, we could send them down the wings, but you've kind of, get in the nets and block shit. That's all you're good for now, right? But it does still, get me angry about things like whatever. For example, the last show I did, right, I had a 10-minute routine about homeopathy and what a crock of shit homeopathy is, right? I don't have any homeopathy jokes in this year's show because I feel if I dilute my homeopathic material, it'll become much more powerful. If you got that, you're a nerd. All right, so, welcome to the group. Now, what got me angry this year, and in the last couple of years, it's been to do with the babies, right? Because the amount of quasi-scientific bullshit that's peddled at new parents who don't know any better and are easily frightened is shocking about when the child should sleep or cry or eat or what you should play to it and what you should play with it. It's a horrendous industry, even before the child is born. Right, now, my two young friends, hello, how are you, right? I'm going to talk about a thing called an antenatal class. I'm taking a wild guess here that you don't know what that is. All right, say that right now. You have a vague idea? It's, you've seen it, maybe seen in films where there's like a pregnant woman, there's a circle of pregnant women and they're breathing, and that's the one. That's an antenatal class. In this part of the world, the classes are run by a charity called the National Childbirth Trust, very commonly known by the abbreviation NCT. Little note for any comedians in the room, beware abbreviations. They can mean very different things in different countries. In Ireland, for example, NCT stands for National Car Test, the Irish equivalent of the MOT. I, like a fucking Aegis, forgot that and walked out at the start of this tour and said, so I brought my pregnant wife for an NCT. And the whole room recoiled in horror, as if to go, why would you do that? Why would you walk her into a garage and go, Jesus, the handling has gone on this. She's all over the road. Mind you, the headlamps are better than I've ever seen them. Don't do anything about them. Now, you don't do this course because of any of the information involved. You can get that on a load of different sources. You do the course because you'll meet other new mothers. And it is vital for new mothers having their first baby to have a network, a support structure of other new mothers also having their first babies at the same time in the area so they can share with them their total lack of aggregate knowledge or experience. Right? If you like the rest of us having a computer help desk, we'd ring up and go, help, my computer's fucked. That sounds terrible. It is. How are you? I'm all right. Bye. That's the level of care they can offer each other, right? The course, by the way, is also run by midwives. Now, midwives are fabulous people, do wonderful jobs. But some midwives are surprisingly political. Some midwives think they're in a turf war with doctors. In a don't let the doctors near you kind of a way, because some midwives seem to have mistaken doctors in their head for Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street. Actual quote from a midwife, don't let the doctors near you with their knives. Actual quote, as if the process isn't scary enough, without thinking doctors are ready to lash out randomly in dark corridors. The course is also taught in that tone that I can't stand, that, okay, we're all here together. We're all just taking our first steps on an incredible journey of life. At one stage she goes, no surnames, no job titles. What you do outside this room isn't important right now. We're all the same here. We're just new parents taking our first peek into a wide new world. Try to ignore the large bald man off the telly sitting in the corner of the room, openly taking notes for use in a future routine. There's all I could do to keep sane. We had, look, she would do things like she handed her the homeopathy kit, you know, for labour pains. And it came around to me and I went, oh, ingredients, water. That'll be handy when you're screaming the place down, won't it? Imagine all the screaming probably dries your throat out a bit, right? And then she gets to some of the genuine signs. My two young friends here, for example, there is a hormone in a woman's body called oxytocin, right? Now, oxytocin is a hormone released during lovemaking. It is also the hormone that regulates labour, right? The woman is talking about this, and she says, oxytocin is best released in a quiet, dimly lit, nurturing environment where there are no loud noises or sharp sounds. And you're going, it's not a fucking badger. She goes further. She says the production of oxytocin will halt if your partner has to answer any difficult questions or make any decisions or perform any rational thought. And we're all sitting there going, well, that sounds handy, doesn't it? If you're going to labour in a shopping centre or up a mountain, oh God, I've gone into labour. Pop quiz. Oh, fuck, it stopped. Nice work. Presumably you can stave off labour using only a Nintendo DS and a copy of Dr. Kawashima's brain training regime. And then she gets to a major issue. Oh, lads, you'll know nothing about this, but I'm going to say something here that you'll have never heard of before in your life. Never heard of this. But when I say it, watch out for this. When I say something in about a minute's time, every woman in this room is going to make a noise. Every one of you will make this noise, and I'm not proud of the noise I'm about to make you make. It's not a good noise I'm going to make you do, but there's good stuff just beyond the noise. There's gold, but there's a noise barrier, and you've got to make the noise to get through that barrier, right? During the process, there is a point where a decision may have to be made. I cannot apologise enough. Between a tear and a cut. There's the noise. There's the noise I've heard 120 times so far in this tour. The noise and also the hands. If it's any comfort to you, there are two 14-year-olds who haven't a clue what just happened. Who are sitting in the front row going, what, do they have to cut them out of their jeans? Is that what happened? Is that? We get to this important point, and the woman is discussing it, and in her full-on, don't let the doctors near you way, she goes, obviously, she says, you should choose the natural path. Which is a debatable point, right? But to back up this stance, to back this up, unbelievably, she goes, besides which, she says, besides which, a tear heals better than a cut. I'm loving you for that sound. That is exactly the sound we made at the time of, huh? What? What? That sounds what? That sounds counterintuitive at best. I turned to my wife, who is a surgeon. Although not allowed to say it, I said, really? And she goes, no, it fucking doesn't. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. What does she think we've been doing for the last 250 years? I said, well, do you want to correct her on this? If I correct her on this, I've got to correct her on everything she said for the last day and a half. Let's just get the email addresses and get out of here, right? A friend of mine summed it up brilliantly. A mate of mine, himself and his wife had just been to the whole thing, and I was talking to him a few days later, and I said to him, oh my God, she said an incredible thing. She said, a tear heals better than a cut, and your man goes, oh yes, that's very well known now. In fact, most surgeons these days, for the initial incision, will use a bear. An image to get out of your heads. This Dr. Bear to Theatre 3. Dr. Bear to Theatre 3. Rah! 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 What are we doing today? Appendectomy. Stand back. Goodbye. Rah!
Oh, Dr. Bear, are you going back to the mess now? Yes, maybe my porridge has cooled down by now. There's a question apropos of nothing, but how do you cook porridge in one pot on one ring on one stove, then dole it out into 3 separate bowls and it goes at 3 different temperatures? How exactly does that happen? Somebody explain to me the physics of that situation. I'm not getting it, right? Mummy Bear, your porridge is cold. Why are you going for a walk? It's not going to heat up while you're wandering around the woods. Your child's porridge is the right temperature. Let him eat his breakfast. Just because Daddy Bear, Mr. Dr. Daddy Bear, is a bit, oh, it burns my mouth. Well, blow on it, you prick. Blow on it, for Christ's sake. Put milk into it. That's what we do with hot porridge. We don't go for a walk every time. That's why we get all these burglaries all the time. And another thing. How do you construct a wooden chair, Mr. Handyman? Tell me this, Mr. Handyman. How do you construct a wooden chair that will take the weight of a baby bear, a big roly-poly Bailey bear, and in the middle a small blonde girl child sitting in it, the thing collapses under her weight? And another thing. How do they even have a baby bear, given that he won't go into her bed because it's too soft? Come over here, Mummy Bear. I will not. It's too hard. It's not the only thing that's too hard. Get over here now! Sorry. I'm sorry. Let's go back to the room. We're in the quiet room with the midwife and all of the couples, right? And then a thing happens, and this is word for word the way it happens. I love this story. Every time I tell this story, 120 times now, I can see his face. I can see his face, right? So we're in the room with the midwife, and she does quite a clever thing, where she reads out a list of all the physical changes that will occur in a woman's body over the course of the pregnancy, so that the women there can go, ah, that happened to me, or oh, that happened to me, and it'll demystify them. She goes to her list. She goes, some of you may have experienced constipation. And in the corner of the room, one man raised his hand. And it's better than you think, because we all went, what the fuck? Even in the middle of it, what the fuck? And your man goes, we've had that. If you can imagine her face, the look of I don't think we had that. We've shouldered many burdens together over the last 8.5 months, but frankly, constipation wasn't one of them. We all just about recover, and a minute or two later, she's going through the list, and she goes, some of you, she says, some of you may have experienced sore nipples. Up his arm goes again. No one can look. Everyone's going, don't look at that. That is the funniest thing that has ever happened. That man's nipples are sore because his wife is pregnant. Look at your shoes. Look at your shoes. Don't fucking look. I will die laughing if I look at that man earnestly with his sore tits because his wife is pregnant. Oh my God, that is the funniest thing that has ever happened. Me, I'm checking me nipples. I'm just flicking out to say, I'm just seeing if I'm one of the lucky ones. I've dodged a bullet, I'm all right. I'm saying to my wife, this is actually quite pleasant. This might get me through the labour, to be honest. And we're all going, oh God, do another one, do another one, do another one, do another one. Because we know this game is about to end. We're about to break for lunch. It's like 12:30 on the first day. When we break for lunch, that couple are not coming for lunch with any of the rest of us. She is dragging him away to the farthest cafe she can find, getting the rustiest fork she can find, and ramming it into his thigh and going, nobody else was sharing information about their partner's arse or tits. Why are you telling them this stuff? You better zippity for the rest of the weekend. We're going, oh, do one more. And your one only has 1 or 2 on the list. She's almost at the end of her list. And she goes, some of you may have experienced unusual discharge. And the whole room just went, And just as his arm, she went, fucking shut up. Genuinely, I've met them since, it kills me. Sorry. Okay, no, we're off the biology. Young men, we're off the biology. We're just onto the culture now, right? We're off the ickiness, right? If you have a child, this is the thing that everyone says. Oh, you're having a child? Oh, you'll have no time. Oh, you'll have no time.
Oh, God, no, you'll have to give up. Oh, you'll have to give up so much, you'll have no time anymore. People say this to you like it's a sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice, right? We got too much shit at the moment, too much culture, too much content, too much stuff to keep across, right? I had a night in not long ago, this may have happened to any of you. Child asleep, wife out, house to myself. What'll I do? Well, I watch a bit of sport. I've got 14 sports channels. There's going to be a match or a tournament or a game or something I can have a look at. What am I? I've got the house to myself. I watch a movie. I've got 20 movie channels. And besides which, I'm always buying DVDs. Let's have a look at the DVDs I've bought and never watched. A box set of a TV series. I haven't seen the end of this. Did I watch a couple of episodes? Sure, what am I doing? The stuff's saved onto the Sky Plus box. Sure, listen, there's 200 channels being pumped live into the house. There's bound to be something I can watch. No, I won't watch. I'll play. I've got 3 consoles and guitars and wobble boards and all sorts of guns. No, I won't play. I'll listen to some music. I'm always buying CDs. I never listen to all the music. Sure, I'll go online to Spotify. I can listen to all the music in the world. When I'm online, I go to Facebook or Twitter. I read a book. I'm always buying books. I never can keep up with the book. In the end, I watched the last hour of RoboCop. When faced with all of the world's culture, I panicked and just fell into a fetal position and went back to my childhood again, right? There's too much stuff. And do you know what irritating? Often the same stuff over and over again. I'm in a battle with the film I Am Legend. I Am Legend is your typical meh blockbuster. You know, you watch it for 90 minutes and then go, meh, right? But sold to us across 1 million formats, sold to us repeatedly, sold in the cinemas, then on DVD, then on Blu-ray, then on the movie channels, then on the terrestrial channels. Also downloadable for the iPod, the iPhone, and the iPad. You can also download it for the Xbox 360 and the PS3 on a small disc for the PSP. You can also get, I was traveling last year, every plane I was on and every hotel I arrived at, I Am Poxy Legend was being pitched at me. Everywhere for a year, I couldn't get away from the film. This is the irony. It's a film about the last remaining man on Earth. And still the fucker can't leave me alone for 5 minutes. He's got the entire planet to run around, and everywhere I go, I'm a legend, here's me dog, I'm a legend, come here, play with me. I expect to be stuck in traffic, and for my sat-nav to go, traffic is very heavy at the moment. Would you like to watch a bit of I Am Legend? No! And it's not just blockbusters, stuff we didn't even need 10 years ago, right? Mouthwash. Mouthwash is a product we didn't even need 10 years ago. It is currently on sale from Listerine. It is currently on sale in supermarkets in this country in 6 types of mint. Name a type of mint. Spearmint. Yeah, spearmint didn't make the cut. Spearmint wasn't one of the mints that did it. Name another type of mint. Peppermint. Peppermint didn't make the cut either. Cool Mint did. These new bullshit mints, Cool Mint, Fresh Mint, Clear Mint. I bought all 6 and I racked them up in front of myself like a taste test. For the purpose of this show, trust me, you go any direction in any permutation, they're all pretty much mint, right? And then you have a moment of realization where you go, what am I doing? It's a mouthwash. You use it immediately after you've brushed your teeth. Everything tastes of mint immediately after you've brushed your teeth. Fruit, chocolate, chili, tarmac adam, a vagina. They all taste of mint. Obviously, the key word is immediately. I keep a tube by the bed. Okay. Anyway, so you have finally an opportunity to walk away from all this choice, this tsunami of choice that we have culturally. Because if you got a little kid, you can go, I'm out of the game. I'm out of the game. I don't have time to keep up with this. I'm gone, right? First thing to go, right? First major cultural movement I just dropped was new music. New music, I've gone. I couldn't give a damn about new music. Fuck you, Zane Lowe. Fuck you. And everyone else on Radio 1 going, yeah, you got to listen to twangity twing twing. Yeah, twang twing twang. Fuck you, right? Fuck Pixie, Gaga, Boots, whatever you're called. Florence and the Mechanics, good luck to you, right? You fight it out amongst yourselves and become classic hits. I'll hear you eventually, all right? I spent a quarter of a century being forced to keep up with this stuff. I'm out of the game. It is like throwing off a heavy coat. And you know what? It's also good to be out of music snobbery as well. To go, nah, I'm not part of this. Music snobbery is the worst kind of snobbery. Oh, you like those noises, those sounds in your ear? Do you like them? They're the wrong sounds. You should like these sounds in your ear, right? Forces people who like something a bit mainstream, like a bit of pop, like a bit of Girls Aloud or Take That or a bit of ABBA, you know, to have to go, oh, they're my guilty pleasure. I hate that phrase, right? It is an insult to top quality pop. It is also an insult to guilt. I might be an atheist now, but I did my time with the Catholic Church. I learned a lot about guilt, and I needed a lot more than gimme, gimme, gimme a man after midnight to merit the phrase guilt. You had to have the man after midnight. Then you can talk about it. If you've got a guilty pleasure, let it be something you genuinely feel guilty about. You know what my genuine guilty pleasure is? I like to use a crowded tube train to touch women. It feels wrong, but it feels right. That's practically the definition of a guilty pleasure. It's particularly good if you can make it seem like it's their fault. Ah, what are you doing? Jeez, buy me dinner next time, honey. I don't do that, all right? Don't walk away thinking, I don't. I just smell them, all right? That's okay, isn't it? They don't own the air. What are you doing? I'm asthmatic, maybe. Come back. The smell of warm. No, new music gone. Do you know what else went? Movies. Movies went as well. This is the weirdest thing for me. I used to love movies. My two young friends over here, 14 and 15, Hugh, still filming. I'm loving the way you're still filming this. We've got to get this stuff and stick it on the DVD somewhere. You know, there may be a point at which you're physically removed from the room. So we may need another 14-year-old to sit there for retakes for when the guy who couldn't stop pirating, even though he was repeatedly pointed out to him, don't pirate. I can't stop myself. I've got to tape it. I've got to tape it. I'm even blanking out earlier bits I taped. It's just a compulsion to see the thing ticking over. I'm deleting beloved family memories. I've got to have this show on tape. It's recorded for a DVD. How could you not? You can watch it glossy and live and shiny with your own face in it. That's how much better the version on DVD. You're in the one we're selling in the shops. That's got to be better than the one you're going to record now. And I know the minute I talk to you, he's got it out again, hasn't he? He's taken it out again. I know, it's ridiculous. Anyway, that was the best bit to record, and you've chickened out for that bit. That was definitely the bit to have. Anyway, right. No, if you're your age, technical question, have you seen The Godfather yet? Yeah, have you seen Dog Day Afternoon? Yes, Dog Day Afternoon, doesn't ring any bells. Have you seen Taxi Driver yet? Oh man, you got stuff ahead of you. The two of you got such gold ahead of you. Incredible movies that you have to watch ahead of you. It's going to be brilliant and you're going to love it. And there's so many of them. There's 1970s American independent movies, 1990s American independent movies, 1980s French and continental movies. Then, of course, you get to 38 and you've seen them and you're stuck with just a giant shiny robot flinging Megan Fox to a styrofoam wall, right? And it kind of doesn't measure up, really, you know? You're kind of going, and 3D, ask my arse 3D, right? I'm sorry. Here's my take on 3D, right? They tried in the 50s, they tried in the 80s, they're trying in 2010, once every 30 years. It's like tuberculosis. It flares up once a generation and you have to zap it with some antibiotics and get on with your lives. That's what you have to do, right? Don't get me wrong, Avatar. Ooh, Avatar, what a premise. It picks up where Titanic left off. In as much as half the cast are blue. Anyway, no, here's the movie that sums up movies at the moment for me. I want you to come with me because I guarantee the majority won't have seen this film. Incredible film, but you won't have seen it, right? The film came out last year. It was called 2012, right? Now, how many of you haven't seen 2012? Okay, right, a good number. Right. 2012 was an apocalypse movie. It was an apocalypse, end of the like a disaster movie. It was the most insane, over-the-top, ludicrously apocalyptic movie. Entire cities tilted and fell into lava. It was just ridiculous. You know, obviously, you didn't see us dying, right? That's one of the things about American disaster movies. You know you're dead somewhere in that movie, but you never see it, right? You just see the Hollywood sign and the New York skyline, and they're all destroyed. You never actually see us. I think you could localize them now. You know, you could put a thing in when the DVD comes out. You know when you put a DVD in the first time and it asks you the language you want, like English, Francais, Suomi, and you're always tempted to click on Suomi, to see what play is in Suomi, but you're afraid you'll get trapped in an extras menu in Suomi and not be able to navigate your way back out again. So you chicken out and you press English, right? They could do that. You could say, I'm watching it in scroll, London, right? And then you'd forget about it. But an hour and a half later, there'd just be a scene where a bloke runs in and goes, Trafalgar Square is fucked! And then runs out again. It's one of those. By the way, that line I do everywhere. In every town, I change it for a local landmark. This is the toughest town to do it in, because for the simple reason, it turns out if I go, Leicester Square is fucked, a London crowd just go, yeah, it is really, they really have. They just let it go down so terribly, yeah. So. Anyway, it's a ludicrously over-the-top disaster movie. It is hilarious in its over-the-topness. No plot. Just John Cusack running away from lava for 2.5 hours. And always just slightly ahead of the lava. Oh God, lava! Oh Jesus, lava! Quick, get into the car. He drove off, the lava sped up. Then he gets into a plane, the lava accelerates again. After about an hour and a half of this brinksmanship, you're going, Jesus, John, I'm spotting a pattern here, right? Why don't you hold still for a minute and see what the lava does then? Will it come up to you and go, oh Jesus, he's called our bluff, quick, get back down the hole. We got nothing, he's gone. It's the most ludicrous. They destroy everything, and it's all on the screen, and you're going, oh my God, if you destroyed everything, there must be a reason. There must be some. You must have sat down with geologists or cosmologists or meteorologists to come up with some justification for the greatest apocalypse that we've ever seen. No. There's one line in one scene at the start of the movie to explain the entire apocalypse, and it's not even repeated to or alluded to, just one line, right? I'm now going to do this for you. This is why you have to come with me a bit, because you won't have seen this, but I will make the scene come alive. It's India. It's a monsoon. A man arrives, clearly in a hurry. He's wearing a suit. He's got a small bag. He's rushed to be here. He's a scientist. He's meeting another scientist. He goes, I came as soon as you called. The other guy in a white coat goes, we've had some incredible results. At which point, this bloke should have gone, well, why didn't you email them to me like we normally do in science these days? Why instead did you compel me to fly from Washington to India? I've been on 9 airplanes. I've watched I Am Legend 14 times. But he doesn't say that. He goes, oh my God, what are they? And this bloke delivers the greatest line in the history of cinema. Some of you won't get this immediately, but trust me, I will explain it. This guy, a physicist, turns to the other physicist and without any shame or compunction goes, the neutrinos have mutated. Now, for the non-nerds here, neutrinos are tiny, subatomic, really, really almost massless particles. They're released in nuclear breakdowns, like in the sun, for example. 500 trillion of them pass through your bodies every second. They can't mutate. Their structure is fundamental to the structure of the universe, right? They can't just change. He might as well have gone, the electrons are angry. Or the light from the sun, it's gone off. That's how fucking ludicrous it is, right? But he doesn't do this. He goes, the neutrinos have mutated and they're heating up the planet. At which point, this bloke should have gone, what the fuck are you saying? What the shit physicist are you? What crappy Calcutta University spat you out with a fucking degree? What the? Did you not ask one of the blokes to check your figures and he would have given you a slap in the chops and told you not to get some guy to fly from Washington in a monsoon with no change of underwear to tell him there's a fucking neutrino? You're a fucking idiot. He doesn't deliver this speech. Instead he goes, oh my God, and runs away from lava for 2.5 hours. And it's never mentioned again. This, the most incredible thing that's ever happened in the history of science, is never mentioned again. People don't even go when they're running away from the lava. Why? They don't even think to ask. They just run and scream and or die, right? Even at the end of the movie, and I know you're thinking, end of the movie, spoiler alert. I can't spoil it. They're on a boat, there's a new dawn, they've all survived. Everyone in the cinema got up and walked out. I was the only idiot in a Curzon in Leicester Square with my arm up going, what happened to the fucking neutrinos? A week ago they had mutated and were heating up the planet. How does that change all of a sudden? That was the most amazing thing to have happened in physics. Did it happen twice in 8 days? Did they send a note going, sorry about last week, boss was giving me a bit of grief at work, wife was nagging me, I lashed out. Mutated, heated up your planet. Won't happen again. Yours, the neutrinos. How exactly did that threat go away? And then you're kind of going, if you're just going to make shit up, if you're just going to suspend all logic, then go for it. Jesus, go for it, right? If you're just going to go wild, then go wild. With the tiniest of changes, you could have a genuinely amazing movie. Same opening scene. Rain, man, suit, bag, I came as soon as you called. Or the guy goes, we've had some incredible results. This guy goes, what are they? If at that stage, with the tiniest of changes, this bloke had just gone, the Latinos have mutated. And they're heating up the planet. Now, there's a movie. 2.5 hours of running away from Gloria Estefan. Oh no, the rhythm is gonna get me. Quick, get into the car. Who's that in the rear
rearview mirror, it's Ricky Martin. Bam, bam, ba-da-da-da-da, all over the world, mariachi bands erupting out of the Earth's core. La cucaracha, la cucaracha, bam, ba-da-da-da-da-dum. And the ending. The ending will be the greatest ending in the history of cinema. They're on the boat. It's a new dawn. They've survived the Latino apocalypse of 2012. John Cusack looks at his wife with love in his eyes, and she looks at him with love in her eyes. Then mounting horror as she raises up her arms and she realizes she's got giant, multicolored ruffled sleeves on and a set of maracas in her hands, and she just goes, tequila! And John Cusack goes, no! The end. Now that's a fucking movie I'd pay money to watch. Well, they don't make them like that anymore. However, in case you think I'm just being overly negative, I'm dropping music, I'm dropping movies, there is an art form I'm keeping. There's an entertainment industry I am supporting and continuing to support. And I'm going to say this. Half of the people who will shout out in response, and half of the people who don't, who will be like a bit, for God's sake, Dara. This is the industry. Video games. Hello to the gamers. Hello to the non-gamers who are going, you're kidding me. Yes, I know it's supposed to be embarrassing. I know I shouldn't admit to it. I know this because if I'm at a dinner party and somebody goes, Dara, how do you relax after a gig? It's less embarrassing if I go, I masturbate to hardcore pornography. Because once you've got past that line, the conversation is exactly the same. Oh, I've not done that since I was a teenager. Oh, you should check it out. It's really moved on since then. The graphics alone are unrecognizable. And you have to use all 10 fingers. This is my argument for why video games are the winners, are the greatest of all these industries, right? Video games do a thing that no other industry does. You cannot be bad at watching a movie. You cannot be bad at listening to an album. But you can be bad at playing a video game. And the video game will punish you and deny you access to the rest of the video game. No other art form does this. You've never been reading a book and 3 chapters in, the book has gone, what are the major themes of the book so far? You've gone, well, I don't know what. For fuck's sakes! You've never been listening to an album. After 4 songs, the album has gone, dance, dance. Show me your dancing is good enough to merit this. And you go, is this good enough? And the album goes, no, and stops. No other art, but video games do it all the time. I'll give you an example. Very famous game came out a couple of years ago, very controversial game, Grand Theft Auto 4. Right? A lot of people who play that. Very controversial game because you could drag people into an alleyway and shoot them in the head. I never got to that bit. I got stuck on a bit. We had to steal a car and drive across the city and assassinate a guy in a train station. But the fucker kept running away. We had to steal the car again and drive all the way back again. But you couldn't drive quickly because there was a toll booth in the middle of the route and you had to slow up at the toll booth and pay the toll. Trust me, 6 or 7 attempts at this, you're in your front room, in your pants, going, I'm in fucking traffic. I'm on my day off and I'm commuting. What kind of an idiot am I? How am I wasting my life here? If I lived in Liberty City, I'd buy a flat near the guy I had to assassinate and I'd fucking walk to work. There are these games called Guitar Hero and Rock Band where you get a full-size plastic guitar and you can play along, woohoo, yeah, la, woohoo, and you can play along to your favorite rock song, yeah, red, blue, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, oh, difficult bit, blue and red, ah. And you buy them because in the back of the box it names the songs you can play along to. And like one of the members said, Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. And I went, oh God, I love Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. I can't wait to play Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. I want to play Sabotage. But you can't just play Sabotage by the Beastie Boys because it's song number 85 in the game. So you have to play the preceding 84 songs to unlock Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. And trust me, round about the mid-40s, you're playing Maps by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, another shite you've never heard of. And you're in the same pants, in the same front room, going red, blue, blue. I am fucking wasting my life here, yes? And the gaming purists go, no, you have to unlock it. That's the way the game works. And you go, yeah, I'm 38. I unlocked it in a shop with a credit card. Give me fucking content. And they go, no, 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 this is the music industry. This mimics the music. You've got to work your way slowly up the music industry, song by song, until you can get to the top and play the songs you want. And you're going, yeah, it's the music industry. You can always suck a little cock to get to where you want to get in the music industry.
Why don't they simply put in a cheat level where you take the top off the guitar, pop the shaft into your mouth? Red, blue, blue, red, red, blue, red, blue, red and blue, red and blue, red and blue. There we go. Right, Sabotage by the Beastie Boys, anyone? I asked who was a gamer. Who plays with the Wii? Yeah, that doesn't count. This is a Wii game. Ooh, I'm stroking a pony. That's a Wii game, right? Ooh, I'm feeding sugar cubes to a unicorn. It's going to poo out rainbows that I can paint onto Mario's house. That's not gaming. This is gaming. Oh my God, I'm in a gun battle. Which one of these isn't crouch? Every game involves crouching. You're always behind a little wall or you're behind an oil barrel. You're always crouching. But they put the crouch button in different places on different games. And you get panicked in the middle of a space marine laser battle and you're just pressing any button at all. And before you know it, your soldier is just waddling around the battlefield. Just looking up at you. Going, press anything, anything, not toggle maps. There's a game called Metal Gear Solid, and you play a character called Snake. And when Snake dies, the camera pulls cinematically up from him, and the man that Snake has been speaking to on his comms unit goes, Snake, 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 every time he dies. When I play as Snake, he dies a lot. But the man's sadness seems undiminished by the regularity with which he has to mourn Snake. You think once or twice he'd just go, Snake. You'd think there'd be some sort of debriefing session where they go, Jesus, Mick, you're very fucked off about the death of Snake, weren't you? Well, he's one of the best agents we've ever had. He was not, Mick. We've looked back over the mission logs. His behaviour in the field was erratic at best. He spent most of the time just waddling around the battlefield for no fucking reason. He'd just be waddling into corridors he didn't know where to go. He'd be toggling maps, then weapons, then items and weapons, then maps. He tried to put his maps into his items and his weapons into his items. Then he had to get behind that. He couldn't get behind it. He kept running at it. He kept running at it repeatedly. He ran at it once. He missed it. He had to run around again in a little circle. He tried jumping at it. Then he tried touching it, then jump and touch, jump, crouch and touch, jump, crouch and touch. Then he looked up, then he hit a crowbar, then he looked down, then he dropped the crowbar, picked up the crowbar, weapons, items, weapons, items, crouch, not crouch, crouch, not crouch, crouch, not crouch, crouch, not crouch, weapons, items, crouch, 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 crouch. Then a robot attacked him. He gave him his fucking rations. The worst agent we've ever had. Some routines have a natural finale, a punchline. Others just end when the comedian gets exhausted, jumping at an imaginary piece of video game scenery. And well aware that maybe 25-30% of the people in this room have spent the last 5 minutes going, jump, crouch, touch, what was he talking about? The man's a fucking idiot. It's not even making sense anymore. Sometimes in that routine you can see a big group of young people, they're ducking, and then like a meerkat. There'll be a middle-aged person going, what the fuck are you all laughing at? You're all mad, you're off your heads. Jump, crouch, touch. Is this supposed to be comedy? Is this what passes for comedy? I know, I get angry myself. Listen, I got one more story and then I gotta go. You're very kind. I say I gotta go, I'm gonna walk to there, turn around, come back out again, all right? I'm not doing the encore thing, because this is London. I'd get behind that thing, you'll go, right, Oyster card, we're out, right? You'll have already swiped in by the time I get behind that door. I'll be sitting behind there going, oh, come on, ask me back. I've got something prepared, come on, ask me back. I'll turn around, empty room. Oh, yawn, stretch, Sunday morning, right? So, I don't even disappear from view. It's appalling to watch. I just walk to there, turn, swivel, back out again. It's amazing, you'll see it in a second. Three stories, right? These stories are linked by how you're perceived for this job, right? At the start of the year, right, I was starting this tour and I was in Dublin, right, and I got into the back of a taxi, right, in Dublin, and there's a local bloke, and I said to him the name of the theatre. I was going to a place called Vicar Street in Dublin, right, and I said the name of the theatre. And the taxi driver turned, looks at me and goes, oh, Jesus, you're that bloke from England. Right, and I went, I'm not from, I'm from 10 miles down the road. And your man goes, I know. And I said, well, why did you say, you're that bloke from England? And he looks at me and goes, Jesus, you're a lot more cheerful on the telly, aren't you? You win this one. Then I arrive at the theatre and my mother rings me, right, from Ireland, and she says, I was talking to Mary today. And I said, who's Mary? She goes, oh, you know Mary. I said, no, who's Mary? Ah, you know Mary, you know Mary, you know Mary. You know Mary, Mary from the club. Oh, you know Mary, you know Mary. Oh, you know Mary. I said, Mammy, I don't know who Mary is. What the fuck did you say to Mary, right? And she says, Mary, she says, has a daughter called Mary. Right? Anyway, true story, but she said, my mother says, she's doing a speech for a head girl election. And I told her you'd write her some jokes for the speech. And I had to explain to my mother, A, I'm in the middle of writing a show myself. I don't have time to do freelance work for Mary, right? But more than that, I don't think the stuff I'm writing at the moment is particularly suitable for a 17-year-old girl who's about to do a speech to her school, right? So I say to you, girls of Loretta's College here, I say to you, why don't they simply put in a cheat level where you take the top off the guitar, pop the shaft into your mouth, red, blue, blue, red, blue, blue. There we go. Right, Sabotage, any by the Beatles. And further, girls of the sixth form here in Loretta, I say this to you, everything tastes of mint immediately after you brush your teeth. Fruit, chocolate, chili, and you can do the rest of the list yourselves. No, the story I'm going to tell you is one that I quite enjoy bringing home, right? Because this happened 3 miles from here down in Chiswick, right? This genuinely happened in Chiswick last year. I'm sitting having lunch. I just finished lunch, actually, and a woman walks up to me and taps me on the shoulder and goes, are you the bloke off Mock the Week? And I said, I am. And she goes, would you do me a favour? And I said, I'd be delighted to, right? And then she genuinely goes, I've just made somebody redundant. So I was thinking you could come over, crack a few jokes, and cheer us all up. Not a word of a lie, right? I went, why would I do that? And the woman goes, well, the way I figure it, that way for her, it wouldn't be the day I was made redundant. It'd be the day I met the guy off Mock the Week. And I went, it'll still be the day she was made redundant. I'm not a hypnotist. She's not going to forget that. I'm not even going to be 50-50 with that. She's not going to go home and her husband's going to go, how was work? And she'll go, good and bad. Why would I do that? And the woman genuinely looked at me and went, it's your job. And all I could do to go, whoa, there are many reasons I didn't go into HR. And probably the most compelling was I didn't want my job to be, quick, we've got a weeper, get cocoa. And I come quacking out with me big red shoes. Hey, 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 hey! Let's turn that frown upside down. Giraffe! It's not my fucking job. I said, and where's this poor woman sitting? Expecting her to go, oh, she's over there. I said, where's this poor woman sitting? And she went, she's there. I turned around and there was a crying woman. Oh, yeah. Oh, she'd heard the entire conversation. So now, not only was it the day she was made redundant, as a little bonus, a little cherry on top of that particularly repugnant cake, it was the day she found out that the guy from Mock the Week was a prick. So now I have to go over, right? And I'm looking at you and going, okay, let's go over. Let's go over. I'm going to fucking kill you. So we go over. I sit down. Me there, crying woman here, HR woman here. Me looking at crying woman going, you don't want to be here. I know you don't want to be here. I don't know why you don't want to be here. And I go, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know. I'm trying not to cry myself. And then there's a moment where I go, oh my God. And I think, okay, listen. I said to her, this is a terrible day. This is an awful day. Nothing I say is going to make this not an awful day, but there might be one small thing, one tiny upside, one silver lining to this cloud, one good thing. And she looked at me and went, what's the good thing about today? And I said, you will never have to work with this bitch again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to talk to you. I'm going to walk off. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, you're very kind. Oh, what's this? What's this? Oh, hey! Oh, my God. Amazing! Oh, you people! That is touching. You know, that is genuinely unexpected. I was in the ice bath. The limo was ready to run. It was incredible. But you're still here, and you wouldn't leave. You know, you got the whole petition together. That was incredible. How quickly did you do that? Listen, very, very quick, ladies and gentlemen, because it's been an absolute pleasure and a delight to talk to you, as it always is when you come here. Thank you very, very much for coming out. You have a class audience, right? But yes, don't clap yourselves. That's all you were doing there. Yes, we are, aren't we? We're fantastic. We have performed magically tonight. It's been wonderful. There were times when he was flagging, but we rose him up. We breathed life into him. We made him a god. We are kings. That's more than you just did that. I think I read a lot into it, but nonetheless, right? But some people have been yet gods more than other people. Some people have been heroes, and that is one of the things I enjoy about this job. I get to meet genuine, awe-inspiring heroes. Like, for example, no, not the fireman. Because we didn't really meet you. We've met even better heroes than you. We met a man who was cycling as a teenager with a girl he liked. He didn't want to touch her or do anything inappropriate to her, but she fell off a bike under slightly mysterious circumstances. And she hurt herself quite badly. And she looked up at him and said, go, go, go. Leave me to die here in this ditch. I'm worth nothing to you now. And the teenage boy looked at her and went, oh, I could find a use for you. So he carried her hornily all the way to the hospital, a mile. How convenient to have a fucking accident a mile away from a hospital. Oh, you're just doing laps of the fucking district general away until eventually somebody got injured at the top of a hill. A mile! How convenient for you. He carried her all the way there, ladies and gentlemen. And then he looked at the doctor and went, save this woman's life! And the doctor went, from what? She has hurt her leg. Get the fucking cue, right? Get to the A&E queue. Nonetheless, he saved her life, ladies and gentlemen. He was only a young man and he did it. Give it up to the man who carried the girl all the way to us. Give a round of applause. Huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. It's one thing, saving the life of a woman, but to save the life of a baby, of a tiny baby whose blood is magical blood, special blood must normally be drawn from unicorns and special fairy dust clouds. And that guy, that's where they get. One guy they don't even use his blood; they hold it in an altar. They're freezing it, so in hopes someday to clone him and his blood. He gives baby blood, ladies and gentlemen. Baby blood man, give him a round of applause. Baby blood. That wasn't incredible. Who among us has ever fought 4, maybe 5 feet of water? As a child, struggled for life. And we had important sunbathing to do on the 2 weeks I get off. I don't know why I have to waste my time saving children, but she broke away from her holiday, ladies and gentlemen. She broke away to save that child's life. 3 feet of water she waded through to find that child. And then she lifted the child up and carried him the 6 feet to the edge. It's not a heroic story, right? We should have spoken to the fireman. But these decisions are making in haste, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm making the best of it, all right? So give it up for the woman who saved the child for the child! But if you can save a child, you can save an entire nation. You can save more than one nation. You can save all the nations combined. Because when nations are combined, they have to build some sort of listening device. And when they need a listening device, they build a man who build anything. He'll build anything. He'll build towers, he'll build huts, he'll build anything. But most of all, he will build the most difficult thing, the most difficult tender to request at a building planning meeting. He will build secret satellite installation for the United Nations. He's the one man who can do that. Give it up for Dara! These people have been brave, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, by the way, I have to give special mention to one young man who kept at it, ladies and gentlemen, who kept at it despite the fact that he was constantly pointed out and told to stop. He didn't stop. He wouldn't stop. He's not the guy who wanted to capture these moments and keep them for himself where he could hold them. Not to pay £14 for the DVD, you cheap prick. If you give me your name and address, I'd send you a copy of the DVD. Not anymore. I'm going to charge you now. I'm going to come round to your house. I'm going to charge you for the footage that's actually on your phone as well. To the man who will one day grow up to be the greatest film director this country has ever seen. Give it up for that guy and the 2 young guys. That's it together. Very good. All of these people are heroes. All of these people are legends, but one man rises above them because once a year, we don't know where it happens, but occasionally it happens, once a year, maybe once a decade, a rare thing occurs. Somebody runs into a doctor's surgery with an x-ray and they go, oh my God, we have the worst possible medical emergency. And he goes, what is it? Well, you're going to have to see it first. And they cut on that thing on the wall and they press the button and they both go, Jesus wept, is that what I think it is? And they go, yes, there are spanners in this man's brain. And they go, who can deal with this situation? And he goes, I know a man who invented the technique for removing spanners from a brain. Where will we find such a man? In London? Not quite. A little bit below London. He is the forerunner of the exclusive Il Spanero technique. They only know him as
Dave the Brain Surgeon. Give it up for Dave the Brain Surgeon. You are the legend. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. I'm Dara. Thank you very much. Good night. Goodbye. Good luck to see you again. You're very kind. You're all legends. I love your work. Thank you very much. You're good people. Oh my God. What is that music? Oh my God. What is that Latino beat? Oh no. Oh. Oh, building up to the big finale. Here comes the big finale. Oh, Chiquita! Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You'll be fantastic. Good night. Goodbye, 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 bye. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. Right, normally this would finish right here, right? Normally it would finish right here. However, I've been doing the show 120 times. Let me just get a glass of water, because this is the bit, by the way, that nobody else gets. Not the drinking water bit, everyone gets that. It's very rare for me not to get a little bit thirsty when I'm roaring and shouting at a crowd for 2 hours, right? I love you too, my friend. Hey, you know what I forgot to do? Do you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to thank one guy who kept me on the straight and narrow, one guy who said a very important thing to me at the very start. He said I shouldn't be aware, I shouldn't care about, what the mores of society are. He didn't quite say that, he said, fuck PC. He just shouted it out. Either it was a complaint about the constrictions on language by the orthodoxy of political correctness, or he's recently brought a computer back to a major chain and is really pissed off at it. Ladies and gentlemen, I've done this show 120 times, right? And in it there are various routines I have done, and I've performed them as much as I could, right? And I thought I've done a very good job, but sometimes I worry I'm a little bit hammy about it. And it would be nice to see some of the lines delivered by a proper professional performer, a proper actor, right? Say, for example, during the 2012 routine, just to see how they'd be delivered by someone who genuinely knew how to. Well, do you know what? Even better, by someone who was in the actual film 2012. How much better would my routine be with the guy who actually delivers the line that I am taking the piss out of night after night after night? So just for tonight, as a little treat, I would like to welcome onto a stage an actor you may know from East is East, or indeed from EastEnders, or currently on Strictly Come Dancing, but most importantly, plays the physicist in 2012, who delivers the magic line. Could you please welcome Jimmy Mystery, ladies and gentlemen, onto the stage? Tonight, for one night only, myself and Jimmy will now recreate that routine and all of its important moments. Picture the scene. It's Calcutta, it's India, it's a rainy day. A man arrives in a suit with a bag. He is a scientist. He has travelled great distances in a hurry to be here. He is meeting another scientist. He goes, I came as soon as you called. The other man says, we've had some incredible results. You like that line? Wait till the next one. This scientist, when you email to me, you do right, that bit, right? This scientist goes, what are they? And then this guy, without shame or compunction, this physicist turns to the other physicist and says, the neutrinos have mutated. That's good. That's good. Oh, you're going, what a ridiculous line. He might as well have said, the electrons are angry. Or even, the light from the sun, it's gone off. You're actually doing it better than I do now. How much better would the film be if this was the actual ending? We've had some crowd. This guy goes, what are they? If at that stage, with the tiniest of changes, with the fucking most minuscule, with the most itsy-bitsy, tiny, weeny-whiny of changes, if the physicist said this, the Latinos have mutated. And they are heating up the planet! Okay, big finale, big finale. Oh, tequila! Jimmy Richard, is that right? Great job, you're actually star. Thank you very much. Good night, goodbye, good night. For seeing you again. I'm Darwin. Good night. Jimmy Richard. Thank you very much.